The most important thing I've learned in my entire life, the number one lesson I've learned about personal growth, success, about accomplishing everything I want in my life, both personally and professionally. Want to hear the secret? The number one thing that you need to do to accomplish anything in this world, to be successful at anything you set your mind to. You ready for that secret? I'm going to tell you. Here it comes. The number one thing you need to accomplish anything and be successful in this world is to just never quit. That's right. Just don't quit. I know it sounds silly. It sounds stupid even from coming out of my mouth because it's so simple. But it's true. Like Sir Winston Churchill said, never quit. Never, 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 never quit. Yes, I had to try the British accent. But it's absolutely true. We are so good as humans to let ourselves off the hook. We're so good at it. We, we're good at cutting ourselves slack, making excuses, telling ourselves lies. Nobody in this entire world, in my entire life, has lied to me more than me. We are very creative storytellers when we feel we need to be. And we can tell ourselves some doozies. If you know you are on the right path and you hit that wall, that internal voice starts talking to you. It starts making you doubt that you're doing the right thing, that you're actually on that right path. And how do you know you're on the right path? Well, this is something you need to figure out before you hit that wall. And how do we we have the right path and we're setting the right goals and that we're doing the right thing? It starts with your values. We create a vision of what we want the future to look like, who we want to be, who we want to become, what we want to look like, how healthy we are, how fit, what kind of adventures we want to have, what kind of relationships we want with our God, with our parents, our spouse, our kids. What kind of husband, wife, son, daughter, mother, father do we want to be? What kind of friend? What kind of relationships do we want with our neighbors and our coworkers? What kind of occupation? What kind of work do we want that fulfills us and provides for our families and creates the freedom to do those adventures, to have the time to spend with all these people? That's our vision, and that's what you got to create. And it's based on your values, what you hold most dear, most important in this world, and it's based off of those things. And from those values, you can create the vision. And from the vision, you can start making goals. And from goals, you can create a plan. You start working the plan. And that's when you know you're on the right path because you work in the plan that gets you to the goals, which help you achieve that vision. And then when life inevitably gets difficult and you run against some challenges and you start telling yourself those stories, right? You start to be pragmatic. I'm just being realistic, right? And that voice says, starts rationalizing, telling yourself rational lies. All you got to do is base your decisions against your values and their goals. And any decision you make that takes you further away from those goals is the wrong decision. Anything that takes you closer to your goals, that's what you must do, no matter how difficult. And I'm not talking about not quitting as in when you're simply doing the wrong thing and it doesn't, when what you're doing you find doesn't work. That's just being, efficient. That's just being aware. Assess the situation and find out that no matter how hard you work, that's not going to work. And that's not going to get you any closer. And that's when you reassess and you reformulate and you work a better plan. And your goals and your values can change over time. You are not, a statue. You're not static. What I wanted, I felt was most important, my values when I was 20 are definitely different than when I was 30, or different than when I was 40. We change, we grow, we learn, and our values change. And over time, my values became less internal and more external. I became more about accumulation and more about service, and less about me and more about my family, my relationships. That's different than what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about is when you know you're on the right path, but things get hard and we start talking to ourselves and we start telling ourselves and we start finding those excuses. We start saying, maybe we're not on the right path, even though we know we are. And maybe our efforts could be better served in a different capacity, doing something that might be, I don't know, maybe a little less hard, maybe a little more comfortable, something we were used to and has worked in the past. I know. I'm telling you, I've started more plans and ended them abruptly to start other plans. It's like trying to build a bridge from who you are and where you are today across this vast expanse, this huge sea of the unknown, to the opposite shore, where you want to go and who you want to be. And in between, in this sea, it's rough. It's rough waters and heavy winds and sharks and all sorts of dangers, but you are full of enthusiasm and energy and you start building that bridge and you get going. And at first you're flying, you're building, and it's no problems, but then you start getting into the unknown. It starts becoming a little scary. You start feeling the fear. You start feeling the fatigue of the building. And then that's when you start saying, maybe this bridge isn't the right kind of bridge. So you quit. You stop that bridge. You start another plan, a different goal, a different bridge, and you start building again. I must have 100 different half-built bridges and never gotten to the other side, never gotten any closer. I'll tell you a story about it's almost 20 years ago. The thing I wanted most in this world was to become an explosive ordnance disposal technician. EOD, the military's bomb squad.